Alright, hello everybody and welcome to another video on this channel, absolutely. This is a match between myself and Glenn on ladder, and recently I've been recording all of my games on ladder in hopes of showcasing some of the best ones, and this is one of the ones I selected. So, I shall do my best to explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and everything I might be thinking about. And here is the mulligan. Actually, one of the best hands I could have possibly have gotten. Everything I'm looking for. 2 unconditional AP gains, Kaisash Tournament and KGP Agent. Yes, they have downsides to them, but they are absolutely what Raptor wants to see in the early game. No setup required. I don't have to kill anything big like a Jad or a Dagonoff Sentinel. This is risk-free base attack and is going to help me get off my feet very easily and actually let me kill those 2 White Wolves in a single hit, which is a luxury, to be honest. Most of the time, even in this matchup against Arrrriane, when my health is very precious, I'd be completely okay with taking 2 hits off the White Wolves, and that's because card draw is also very important and is actually something I'd be mulliganing for as well. But I found everything I needed: 2 unconditional AP gains and 2 cards that drew cards, and ultimately the ability to just kill them in a single hit, unless Archmage Segredor hits, but this is by no means a huge problem. Certainly, I am now going to take a hit of 5 off the Wolf and then 2 damage when it dies, but I was going to take 2 damage anyway, so effectively Glenn paid 1 gold for 5 damage, which is pretty good, but still only hitting a fairly dinky creature with the Archmage. Certainly not a Jad or a Sentinel, and ultimately that's what he was aiming for, and Glenn has a habit of doing that. He likes to play more ambitious Archmages in slot 3 and 4, like that one. Obviously, the earlier you play it, the more likely you are to actually hit something, but the later you play it, Raptor does like to use his slots to set up kills on big creatures, like I mentioned, which tend to appear towards the end of the chapter. So later, more greedy Archmages can do a lot more work. And there's a Krasian Warrior. You might think, well, I already have a pretty big hand, you don't need any more card draw, but I've got 5 cards in hand, and I do want to try and fit that Krasian in, which is why I'm shuffling the cards around. I want to bring my hand up to 7, and then I draw 3 at the start of the next chapter, and that's 10. And I want to maintain the maximum hand size all game long so that I have as many options as possible, which is pretty good in a game about building 4-card combos. This chapter, I really want to heal up, so I've got Dagonoff Fledgling there, and then an Ice Nile at the end. I'm on 4 base attacks, so I could use the Kale to kill it, which I was thinking about, but I could also use the full Darox. If he hits me, just take 1 damage, which is quite likely, you know, then I would go up 2 base attack, but I do think that's also quite risky. It might not do damage. He could just draw cards. The full Darox might not trigger. I can play it later when it's guaranteed to trigger, but I could have played it. There's a Barkatoad. Spend 1 cannonball from your hand and deal 7 damage. It would have triggered if I had swapped the Fledgling with the Darox, but not a risk I need to take right now, as I mentioned. Barkatoad, though, and Rowdy Cannoneer, and on the previous chapter, Saucy Wench Deckhand. This is Arrrriane, or Pirate Arrrriane, and that's what I'm thinking about right now. What deck is he playing, and what do I need to do to maximize my win chances against it? And as you can see, his deck revolves around gaining a lot of cannonballs, whittling me down with efficient cards like Archmage Segredor and Haunted Soul, and then presumably nuking me with the Lady Zay, and that there brings him up to 6 cannonballs in hand. So if Lady Zay is his next card, I take 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 damage, which would actually kill me. Thankfully, though, Lady Zay is only 1 card of 30, presumably, in his deck, if he runs the minimum deck size, which he ought to, since then he'd always be more likely to draw it. But as you'll notice, I am on exactly 18 life, so he would have exactly killed me. It's also possible that he just didn't play it because he thought he didn't have enough cannonballs in hand, and it was quite likely that I would heal that chapter. And again, this chapter, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to heal as much as possible. So this turn, I'm going to optimize the order of the cards I play for the most life gain possible. Ice Nile slot 1 potentially represents the most life gain possible, or armor gain. The 2 roughly are the same in this matchup, as most of his cards deal ordinary damage and not life damage. It pays off. He does keep that 4-2 weapon, so I do get 7 armor there, and another 4 as well. Ice Nile really, really strong, and then Rock Cab here represents 6 life. Glenn continues to deal damage and gain cannonballs. He now has 6 in hand, as he spent 1 on the Barkatoad and then just gained another 1. And next up I do have Count Draenor. This is a particularly powerful card, but only once you get to 5 base attack. If you can kill it in a single hit, it represents 4 life, which is effectively a cabbage, and it removes 4 health from your next creature, so it's kind of like gaining a 4-1 weapon, except it's not a weapon, so it can't be griefed by cards like Barfight, which we just saw out of Glenn. So that's pretty good, bringing me up to 6 attack, and that is exactly where I want to be. Perfect for killing Cullinarimancers in a single hit, which really, really help you stabilize. And that's basically the story of this match. Glenn tries to deal as much damage as he can to me, along the chapters, and then ultimately nuke me out with something like Ladies A, but it could be Earth Blast, Earth Wave, Vengeance, a number of other cards, or all of those cards. This chapter, I'm looking to heal as much as I possibly can again. I'm still very concerned that the Ladies A will hit, and when it does, I'll be very, very low on health, and I'll need to heal up as much as I can. I don't find the color in Arrrrianes, so that's a little sad. They are in there. This is chapter 4. I'm hoping they show up soon. And I'm thinking about drawing cards, but ultimately I'm okay with the Jad. This is a fairly safe chapter, even if something does go wrong. And that is because I have Kale bringing me up to 10 total attack. That's going to let me kill the Dagannoth Sentinel in a single hit and give me 5 health. But even if the Dagannoth Sentinel, maybe I lost the weapon, I have to kill it in 2 hits, that's absolutely fine. Because I'm on 6 base attack, and killing this in 2 hits is not a huge problem. Yes, it's annoying, but then I'd go up to 7. If I didn't have a weapon here, I would still be able to kill Jad in a single hit with 7 base. Or, if he had an Archmage Segredor or a Moena here that hit this Jad, I have the weapon still, and I get to kill that in a single hit, no matter what he does to it. This card at the end is the only one that's fairly risky, actually, but still the safest place to put it, at the very end of the chapter, where it's least likely to be griefed by Archmage, Moena, whatever it is. And even Glenn is not usually that ambitious for slot 4 Archmage, and we did see one out of him earlier as well, so he is less likely to have it. Final chapter, he has a lot of cannonballs in his hand, and I still need to be very, very concerned about healing up. Thankfully, though, I have Dagannoth, Fledgling, and Rockcake. They're not Culinarimancers, which I would prefer, but I do have them, and that's good, that's life, and there's no reason not to play them here. I'm going to win in the final fight, I just need to keep my health high. The next thing to think about is full Darox and Black Knight Titan. If it's going to trigger, then I might as well try, even if it doesn't. I don't need the gold for anything else, I've got nothing else to spend it on. And then Black Knight Titan, I think it's pretty good, because even if he, I'm going second, I can guarantee that he does not bring a weapon into the final fight. And at the very least, it's going to deal my base attack damage to him. So a 9 damage strike just before there's the Ladies A, that's a lot of damage incoming, 4 armor off, and then boom, 20. I am left on 4 life. This game is very, very close. Earlier, he discarded a cannonball with his Enfeeble, and had he not done that, I'd still be alive, but I'd be on 1 life, and, maybe he had been able to do 1 damage earlier on. Perhaps I hadn't been able to kill those White Wolves in a single hit. The whole game leads up to that moment, and the point I'm trying to make is that 4 life is all I had in that very, very last critical moment, and if he'd been able to edge out a bit of extra damage on me, or if I'd found a way to save a tiny few extra points of life, it all matters, and that's the point I'm making. It's a very, very delicate matchup, and it was a very, very, very close game. Good game, Glenn, I enjoyed that one, and I hope it made a very entertaining video as well, so do leave a like if you think so, and do subscribe if you would like to see more from me. Thanks.